Hey, so today we are going to generate a sextuple token spawner, and the main goal will be to make it working in multiplayer too. So, generating spawners consists of putting blocks into a non-populated chunk in a special place like this, when the game will check for dungeons. Okay, so first we want to prevent our flying machines from being stuck into loaded chunks, because every 45 seconds the game unloads chunks that does not have to be loaded. So for example, if we have a flying machine moving into loaded chunk, and if the chunk is not loaded by a player, the chunk will just unload. So that's why we need to synchronize it with the Minecraft internal server. And to do so, we are going to use a system that gives an input every time the chunks get unloaded. And we are going to use the fact that if a clock is between a loaded chunk and unloaded one, the clock will just stay on, and we can just reset it and give an input, so we can just test every time the chunks get unloaded. So I've made this system, and every time the yellow chunk gets unloaded, the comparator will trigger. So first it will just reload the chunk, and then it will reset the clock, and we can just take an input here. So yeah, so if I go far, it will just say unloaded, and it's not really reliable, but it does the work, and it only triggers when the chunks get unloaded. So I'm back in my world where I'm going to generate the spawners. I've built the perimeter around the area that is not populated, and I've also built the system to check if chunks are loaded. And now I will just put some redstone along the perimeter to be able to synchronize the flying machines. So I've finished to build the Western Warrior, and I've managed to build all the cobras. So technically we are ready to go, and my main goal will be to build this without backups in one go. So it will be possible to do in multiplayer, because in multiplayer you can't use backups. So I've worked in my world, and I want to show you the 6 spawners. And this type of configuration is rare, because you have to have one dungeon per chunk. So one color stands for one chunk, and we have 6 different colors. And also because the dungeons needs to be in the middle of chunks, because if it's between 2 chunks it will not work. And for that I had to use script to find the dungeons. Okay, so we have the 6 dungeons, but over there we have a problem. As you can see, we have 2 dungeons inside each other. So what we're going to do, we will first put blocks here with the cobra, and we will populate the chunk. So since there is no blocks below, these blocks are going to be deleted, and there will be a spawner here. And so now we have place to put a cobra here to generate the other dungeon, and that's how we generate the 2 dungeons. So in order to generate the dungeons in my world, I need to follow a certain order. That's because when a chunk gets generated, it will check the positive chunks around him, and if they are generated, it will populate the chunk. So this area represents the place where I'm going to generate the dungeons. And if I start by putting the cobras from the positive coordinates, it won't work because it will populate the chunks, because all the positive chunks around him are generated. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to generate from the negative coordinates, so the chunk is not populated since the positive chunks are not generated, and so that's how I'm going to generate the dungeons. So I'm now ready to activate the cobras, and in order for them to not being stuck into another chunks, I need to power them 30 seconds after the redstone signal. So then I'm sure that when the cobras will be in chunks not loaded by me, they won't be unloaded. Okay, so now I need to populate the chunks so the other cobra can pass like I showed. Yeah, it worked. I can see the spawners from here. It seems like all of them worked. Oh yeah, you can see the dungeons that were inside each other. It worked with the first try, so that means it will be possible to do in multiplayer too. So thanks for watching, bye!